So when I see these institutions, these racist institutions, whether it's the corporate plantation or you're talking about the public school system, that's what I see. I see like little farms, like the school system, your school system that your child goes to is a little farm where they're getting them sort of, fat and plump, and they're feeding them, instead of feeding them food, they're feeding them white supremacy. So they're going to be fat and plump with white supremacy, and they're never going to use their wings really, because that you don't want chickens flying around and stuff. You need them to sit still, and they're going to kind of go into the world prepared for slaughter. They're going to be prepared to be slaughtered through various forms of consumerism and bad culture and student loan debt and working on the corporate plantation and all this other stuff. So we have to educate our own people. That's what I just, and really any of you can do it. You all have access to the internet. You all have access to AI. You all have access to iPhones. You can educate your own damn kids. Who in the world told you that you need some lady from the suburbs to come in and educate your children? That's crazy to me, right? So Cody Ransom is my guy because Cody Ransom he's got what we need. I listen to him. I'm like, wow, this I didn't know that about Black Wall Street, and I feel good about myself, right? I feel empowered. I don't feel like. And the other thing too that's really important that Cody covered that he talked about today is he talked about how we got to stop talking about Black Wall Street like it's some sort of funeral or graveyard, like with some sort of negative disposition. Like, oh my God, we tried to build something and white people burned it down. And then they took all our stuff, and then they did this to us and did that to us. That all that victim talk, you got to be real careful about that, because that's another form of white supremacy. When you constantly spend all your time talking about how somebody else stopped you from ever becoming your best self, what you're doing is really honoring that person. You might as well put the person on a mantle and pray to them like white Jesus. You really, because you're worshiping them to some extent. You're really saying you're so superior to me that it doesn't matter what I want to do. All that matters is what you want to do. So the best way for me to get what I want is to convince you to give me what I want. And then they say, well, I'm not going to give you what you want. Why would I give you what you want when I could just have what I want? And then you say, yeah, you're right about that. So ultimately, I think that when you talk about Black Wall Street, I think we have to not just talk about the fact that it got burned down. We got to talk about the people who built the damn thing up, and then know that if they built this thing up in 1919, then we can build that again in 2024. That is a mindset. That literally is a mindset. There are mindsets of builders, and there are mindsets of people that can't build anything, that where they lack the vision. They needed to be there for them to even know that it's real. And I really think that that's a very dangerous perspective for Black people to have. And this is one of the dangers of integration, is that sometimes you would rather connect to something that's established and white than to build something that is independent and Black, right? Building something that's Black and new, it takes time, it's hard, you don't respect it as much. But if I just connect to some big shiny big white corporation that's got a bunch of money and a bunch of a brand value already, then that allows me some sort of shortcut to what I perceive to be power, when actually it's not real power, it's just the proximity to power. And so, for example, when I saw Michael Bloomberg, how many of y'all saw this? Give me a yes if you know when Michael Bloomberg gave $600 million to HBCUs. Did anybody else see that? Give me a yes if you saw that. So Michael Bloomberg, who's worth maybe 15, $20 billion, he gave 600 million to various HBCU medical schools, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I believe that he was doing it for hopefully the right reasons. And I think it's great. I love the idea of Black people becoming doctors. It's better than like us creating like more gangster rappers or something. Like, I mean, we just have enough of those. We don't need more. We need more medical doctors, right? But here's the problem with that though, is that when you are if you don't think on the next level,